In days gone by, at firesides and bars around the Blessington Lakes, people once talked of the arrival of the Greylag Geese, flying in from Iceland as a sure sign of the oncoming of winter. But that is a story of the past, not of today. Greylag geese numbers in and around the lakes and reservoir are falling. Greylags can sometimes be found grazing on fields nearby the lake rather than on it, and one needs to be very careful, as it is easy to disturb the precious few that remain, who desperately need to fatten up for their long journey north.
So they're a migratory species. They travel from Iceland after they breed. They have their young, they come south, they spend time during the winter between October and April here in Ireland, and it's the grazing that they're here for. It's not very nutritionally great for them, so you'll see them constantly eating and eating. So we try and avoid disturbance if we can.
The cause of their decline seems almost like a detective story where each suspect needs to be looked at. The first one is of land availability around the lakes, which is now very different than in the past.
There's been a dramatic change in the land use in Ireland. You know, we had pre-Celtic Tiger, you know, there was a lot more extensive agriculture. And then Celtic Tiger, when development started to happen in a big way, that flux, if you like, it plays havoc with the geese, I suppose. They prefer, you know, routine. They're definitely creatures of routine and habit. So if we disturb them, whether deliberately or just purely by the way we've changed the use of the land and the fields, it's going to cause an impact.
Then there are the massive numbers of greylags shot in Iceland.
They're trying to introduce more restraint within hunters. So somewhere in the region of 40 to 50,000 geese are shot every season, you know, so that's a sizable proportion of the 120, 140,000 try to leave Iceland. So there are factors out there that affect the greylag that we have no control over. So between that, the climate, the land, and possible changes to persecution hunting, you know, the dynamics have yet to be sussed out. There's flux happening, there's change happening, and there's quite a few different factors that we can't pin down yet. There's a lot of work to be done. Are the geese some not bothering leaving Iceland? Are they overwintering just further north, up in the Orkneys and Shetlands and the Faroes? There's no definitive answer. And definitely the science has yet to happen.
Whatever the reason, the numbers of greylags as recorded on the Irish Wetland Bird Survey are down from around 800 in the 1990s to about 100 to 150, although in 2020 only 12 had been reported by January. But Ranger Hugh is realistic about that.
The funny thing is that it's, I say, climate changes, you know. We might be losing species, and that's horrible to see species leaving, but at the same time there's species coming in. So we've had the little egret start to come in, and it would have been a Mediterranean species, and we would have thought, oh, well, that's really interesting. And now they're everywhere, and they've managed to survive some harsh winters, so it's clear they've moved up. Other species like a glossy ibis, which is something I would have heard about in books, you know, but I've seen them in Ireland again, and sort of starting to making their way in. So change is probably inevitable, and we'll have to work with it. And I'm hopeful, of course, you know, that we can avoid the negative human-wildlife conflict and try and develop in a sustainable way. There's always going to be problems, but we'll work with them as best we can.